check a little bit because we didn't really have time to do it. So I just thought while you're coming in, it'll be good to just start so that I will be one step ahead of you. I'll be already in the mode and kind of, trying out stuff. And this is why I've done this, because I wanted you to see more the kind of process that I maybe do in the studio, or sometimes the stage is already the studio, because you just try out stuff, and sometimes talks are also kind of part of the studio, and you can't just be comfortable, oh, I've done this, I've done that. You always have to challenge yourself and do something which you haven't done before, and be surprised by what you do or what you can't do. Because, for example, when you rehearse, everything is very easy and kind of, it works because you're in the studio, you're in control, great. But what happens when you go out, and then suddenly you're in a situation like this, people looking at you and thinking, what is she about? And you're thinking, well, I don't know, I'm just jumping in the water, see what happens, and see what works. And sometimes things work, things that you don't expect just work, just because I don't know why. There are other reasons, I don't know, I have to think about it later. But some things don't work, and don't work, but you have to really live and do stuff all the time in front of people, not be afraid. Even if you're afraid, you have to be not afraid. Or else, there's no time. You just have to get on with it and do more and more stuff in front of people, because that's what we're doing. We're doing it in front of people. Even though we're experimenting, I'm not a rock band. I don't have lyrics about people falling in love all the time, and I don't know. I'm not trying to be cool in that way, but that was the wrong sentence. So you shouldn't have said that. That was stupid. Anyway, what I'm saying is, like, as an artist that works with music and sound, you have to really think conceptually about what you're doing and why you're doing it and how you relate to people and what you're trying to do. And sometimes you don't know. You have to try. You have to experiment. You know, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I didn't plan any of this. It just happened to happen. And because some of the I've done a keynote presentation, and it worked fine at home, but of course here when I did the big screen and I couldn't see the text that I was writing at the same time as the video was playing, so because I don't know why, there is a reason, but because of that I had to improvise at the beginning a little bit more. But that's life, and you have to be prepared to do this. What I was doing here with this text that you kind of see is I took my boyfriend's text, he's a writer, and I said, can I have this text? Because he said, yeah, sure, I don't know where it's going. I said, okay, cool, can I mix it? Can I just trash it? He said, yeah, do that. We often do that. I often take other people's texts and I thrash them. Which means I add my own text, I add some stuff from this book I've started reading. I read about, I don't know, like half a chapter, and it's really great. The wording in this book is really good, the texts are really good, the sentences are jumping out, really clever, and I love it. So I mashed up some of this text from this into my friend's text, and so I just looked at it and thought, oh, what is it doing? And then this song kind of came in my head, and I thought, yeah, that's okay. So just I don't know if there's a reason for it, but I just did it, and that's what I'm still working on it. So I have the old text, and I'm adding my stuff, and sometimes I forget what I actually wrote and what somebody else has written. So this is from this book, and I recommend you to read this book. And the text when you came in and I was talking about face mixed with phone, that was also part of this, these ideas that come out of this book about, you know, the surface, you know, like everything is an image and you can connect anything, face mixed with phone, or nose mixed with phone, or whatever, shoe mixed with hair, or, you know, that kind of thing that we often see, just, and we make some kind of, you know, sense of it. And for advertising, it's really good because, oh wow, face mixed with phone, great. Then boring after you saw it. So these kind of ideas about the internet and how image works and stuff is in this book, and I really like it. So because it's a lecture, and I have to bring some references. This is the references that I choose to bring now, because, you know, it's education. I have to contribute something to your education, and this is what I'm trying to do. So this book is recommended, and maybe I'll also talk about my practice in terms of, okay, yeah, let's stop that now. Serious mode, okay. Yeah, so that was a kind of introduction to how I work sometimes. And this is a new instrument that I just bought. It's a synthesizer, the Minilog. It's very, very good. And it's light, and it's compact, and it goes in my suitcase. It does amazing stuff, and it has these low voice sounds that are really great. And you can also program it and have like a bass loop. Like you can basically do anything on top of it, like I just did. So it helps you also work and be free to do other stuff like text, which sometimes I do with music. So this is very nice. Don't buy it, because I don't want the sound to be too popular, because then, you know, there's too much competition. Don't buy it. Buy somebody else, something else. There is also there's other versions of this one, more sophisticated. So you can buy that one. This is just a controller, so it controls everything on my computer. So I really like the sound of the trumpet, and it's too expensive to hire a trumpet and bring it with you all the time wherever you go, and also it's hard to play and speak at the same time. So this is great. It also looks very nice, and it has beautiful colors, as you can see. And it looks good with my outfit. I mean, this is not an outfit, but the person that made this also made my outfit for a show, which actually I'll show you a little clip from the show. I'm a resident at Somerset House, which is in London. And I invited my colleagues, Chicks on Speed. I don't know if you know them. Was a very well-known band in the 2000s. And we are a bunch of artists, kind of collective. It's always, the form always changes. We don't know what we are exactly, band, collective, artists. We have our own individual kind of practice, but also sometimes we come together. So I thought, yeah, I'll bring them all to Somerset House, and we'll do like 3 days of recording, and then on the last day we did a performance at Somerset House, and everyone brought new stuff, so new instruments. Alex Murray-Leslie created her own instruments with some colleagues at Turnheim University, and yeah, and I brought this one, and I have another synthesizer, and I connected it in a new kind of setup, so that, you know, just to see how it works. And we recorded some of this. I'll show you a little clip, if I can work out the keynote thing. There it is. Oh, this is for Simon Morris. He specifically asked for this. And I'm going to show it and I'll explain. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, this is a piece we made for a mapping festival in 2013, I think. We went to Douglas Gordon's house in Glasgow, and we created these loops. So each loop, you have to understand, because we also used it in the show, each loop works as a kind of a bass line, if you like, or a beat, then you can do stuff on it. But for mapping, we did the bud loop bongo, which is basically, you've got kind of things, tables or plinths, and you come in the space and you start banging on the plinths, and then that loop would come and kind of start, you know, looping. So you could do a few together, and you can create your own, you can create your own composition. Yeah. Anyway, so I just put it together to present it in talks and exhibitions, just to explain what the technique was. But it's basically about the rhythm. And the bar that we break the records on at the end is Douglas Gordon, the famous artist Douglas Gordon, because we had at Bart, so, yeah. And we had this group together that we kind of worked together for about, I don't know how long it was, maybe 5 years, I'm not sure, 6. Art Rules Crew, it was called. And we worked together, and we did loads of stuff together. Yeah, maybe I'll show you another clip from this time.
Ready? Yep.
Message. Chicks on Speed have all the answers. R, U, P, R.
Hello? Okay, so this one, it's an interesting one. The chicks are friends with Francesca von Habsburg, and we went to this, the art fair in Vienna, and we were allowed to go into the exhibition of, oh, it's gone now, so wait, yeah, that was in Vienna. Anyway. Okay, there's loads of more. Ah, yeah, we used to do this thing with lots of paint. We used to like to kind of smear ourselves with paint and then paint with our body. It's kind of a homage to lots of Fluxus art in the 60s. So we also did it as a homage. Okay, I think that's enough with Art World's crew. Yeah. So, oh yeah, so the exhibition, wait, I'll do this, yeah, okay. So this one was the show just the other day at Sunset House. So the stuff that I used here, I used there. This is Alex shouting. And what's written there? Let's see. Oh yeah. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hello. Okay. Yeah, so meanwhile I'll read this. I think it's from my PhD. I don't know if I wrote it or it's a reference, I'm not sure. System activity, that's definitely, yeah, okay. Replacing the word medium with the word system brought me closer to answering the question of what is your medium? My answer is that the question is irrelevant. Even the terms multimedia and interdisciplinary do not describe what I do. My work uses system interaction in order to produce an understanding via the formation of a personal logic. Understanding via the formation of the personal logic. I'll explain. I'm not just saying it, I understand it. Explain it. The body activates the environment. Yes, the body activates the environment. That's true. And the surrounding affects the body. We're a system. Everything is a system that works together, and through that we understand our space, our reality, the room. The sound in the room is part of this kind of system. Objects in the room. Instrument, we collaborate with instruments, with this thing, with this thing, with this thing. It's not separate from us. We created it. It's an extension of us. This is an extension of me and you. It's an extension. And through this we understand stuff. So what we think about technology, that it's something that happens somewhere out there. No. This is you. Computers are your cells. They're extensions like legs, arms, eyes. But what you do in them is that you kind of understand reality and the surroundings through them. And that changes the surrounding and the environment. And then you think, oh, technology is bringing new things. No. You are bringing new things. People are bringing new things to the world, are changing the future. Not the computers or AIs or all this kind of stuff. You are responsible for everything, and you change your surrounding, you change your environment. Therefore, you are the ones to blame if the AI takes over and kills everyone. It's not the AI, it's you or us or we, you know? We are the only people or the only things that will affect the future, because the future changes between these two, the conversation between us, what we do on this thing. That is changing, not this, not somebody from outside. No, it's us, the environment. We are destroying or helping nobody else. There's no bad guys, it's us, okay? So that was the point here. But, yeah. Anyway. It's not my century. That's me. This is the outfit I'm wearing by Pam Hogg. She's a designer. And I thought it looked like my instrument, this. So I thought it would be really nice to work together with this outfit, you see?
It doesn't exist anymore. Class war! Class war! It's not my century! Class war! We're members of society! Class war! Should understand! Class war! It doesn't exist anymore! It does exist! There used to be this company called Anat.
Okay, so that was the chicks. So, yeah, this is this bio that I keep changing all the time. And also I write different bios for different things, because it doesn't work that you have one bio. Anat Ben David, composer, musician, performer. I mean, all these things are not relevant anymore. I mean, we're in an age where everything is everything. What you do is a multimedia kind of interdisciplinary, whatever, everything. And so trying to explain, but the thing is, people still kind of cling to the old idea of this is this, and this is that, and that is this, and this is this. And you can't have both this and that. You have to be either here, or you have to be either there. You can't be everywhere, but I have to be everywhere. I mean, or else I just have, I don't know why, I just have to. So I always had this problem of explaining what I was doing. Hi, I'm an artist, yeah. What do you do? Are you a painter? No, not really. Are you a musician? Yeah, I'm kind of a musician. Do you dance? Yeah, I'm also a dancer. Okay, and you know, that kind of thing. So I said, okay, I will do a PhD in order to explain to myself, first of all, and to other people, what I'm doing, you know? What is it that you're doing? You know, at least I would understand that if I am using different mediums, different techniques, what is the core of it? Where is it coming from? It has to come from somewhere, or it has to have some kind of logic that will help me deal with a lot of information that comes from different kind of disciplines. So I decided to explore that thing. And my PhD was called Oscillation and Disturbance in the Opera Art. And even the title has within it a structure that explains the way that I think and operate. It's a kind of, so here it says, in her PhD, Kingston University 2015, the term opera art, that's what I called it, opera art, and I explain why, to explain her working method as rearranging sound text into musical composition using live performance, resulting in a sonic image, which stages, that should be stages, I think, a unit of meanings to a physical gesture. The work can be realized as a solo performance, video, or an exhibition of multiple media outputs. A recent major public in Kairos opera art. Okay. So this whole thing with opera, that was a kind of a mistake, which brings a lot of, mistakes are really great, because mistakes would just suggest new horizons, new things that you never thought you were going to do. Well, I didn't have any classical training in music. I went through into music through electro, through punk, through meeting people and having to perform, because I was pushed on stage in the middle of nowhere in front of a lot of fans of another band, not myself, and I had to perform. So, and I enjoyed it. It was good. So I liked it. And then I started being more and more interested in music. And so when I was doing the PhD, I was thinking about a word to describe what I was doing, and I was thinking, it's about doing stuff. It's about It's about trying out stuff and doing stuff. And through the doing, I understand. And then, and then things happen. And some of them are nice and interesting, and I would like to elevate them and show it to other people because I found them and I didn't invent them. It just happened, Here it is. Look, this is great. Look. And this is what I wanted to do, and this is how I thought that my work is. This is what my work is. So I tried to find the word, and the word opera art, I didn't mean to have opera in it, although there is a connection to opera. So opera is operation, creating something from different things. Opera art, so like different systems, different things come together. Between them, there's some kind of collaboration, and something new happens. And the simplest way to understand it is with words. When words, it's one system, words, language, then there's sound and music, which is also a language, and also has rules, and also has a lot of meanings, and it's the same like verbal language, musical language. Two different things, but very, very similar, two systems. When they come together, they create something new. And this is what I found. They create something completely new. So I won't go into all the kind of, boring kind of academic stuff. But if you think about it, songs that you love, you hear the lyrics. When you hear the lyrics sung, you have an image in your head, something personal, something that happened to you, some feeling, smell even, right? That doesn't happen if you take that word and that sentence out of the song. Because when you look at it separately, you would think, doesn't really make sense. What does that mean about, I don't understand that. But in the music makes complete sense, right? The music and the words together create another meaning. But what's beautiful about it is that you've got the meaning that was created through the song, if it's a good song, not if it's a crap. The meaning that you created yourselves, personal meaning from the song, and the text that is separate. It means maybe something else, or could mean something else, or or grammatically incorrect, or all kinds of things. And you've got the music, which is another thing. And each of those systems bring in more information. So through the song, you're kind of bombarded with a lot of information if you start thinking about what is going on. So it's a very interesting kind of way of thinking about what you do. So I thought, that would be my kind of, the kind of sentence that would kind of nail my PhD. So didn't work like this, but never mind. So that was the original idea. But then when I handed my PhD, they said you have to do a correction and you have to change your conclusion. It's a minor correction, not a big one. And actually, by doing that, it was amazing. It was such a good comment, because I realized that what the future is for me as a person working with different mediums is to think about the world and about everything as systems. So it's not just mediums, it's just systems, and systems are equal. Anyway, think about it. I don't know what to do next. Oh, the opera, sorry, I'll go back to the opera. So that word opera art came out of this thinking about different systems and the way I was working, and to try and explain what I was doing, which was not medium based. So performance artist, musician, painter, and this, all of them, what do I do? Okay, opera art is the operation between different systems. Okay, so this is the word I came up with. And it had the word opera in, and I don't like opera. When I go to the opera, I see a little bit and then I go out, because it's tedious, with those costumes and those voices. I mean, it's amazing. Those voices are incredible, but I get tired of it, and old people sitting there, kind of falling asleep. I don't know, it's a bit, and I thought, hang on a minute, but it's an amazing thing, opera. It's so amazing. You've got these amazing athletic sounds, voices, of super uber trained instruments, humans, and you've got this setup, and you've got all these emotions. I mean, it's kind of incredible. It's like, okay, I'll do an opera. Okay, I'll do an opera. I don't know how to write music or to read music, but I will write a composition, whole opera, and I will write the libretto, and I will stage, direct. I'll just do an opera. Okay. So I did an opera. Did everything myself. I was the composer. And the libretto, I thought, I really like reading. I'm dyslexic, by the way, heavily. I can hardly read. When I read, I have to find some kind of rhythmical some kind of rhythmical or sonic thing in my head to be able to understand and stick with the text. So when I was reading theory books, if they weren't engaging in that way, they didn't have this kind of rhythmic sound to them, I couldn't understand them. And one book which I loved and always went back to was Sadie Plant's Zeros and Ones, another recommendation. Zeros and Ones is about cyber feminists, people say. It's about technology and women and the relationship between computation and sewing, weaving and all that kind of thing. And it was written in '96, I think. And it's an amazing book. And when I read it, I heard music. And I thought, this is going to be the libretto. I mean, it's going to be based on Sadie Plant's Zeros and Ones. So those words that come out in a very beautiful, poetic way in the theory book are going to become songs. So I'll just show you a little bit of Chaos, which wasn't my PhD. It was post the PhD. The PhD we'll come back to in a minute. But I don't remember where it is, so let's see. That's Melech. That's the PhD. Maybe it's here. Is it? Nope. That's another one. This. Oh, yeah. If I do this, it might disappear, so maybe I won't. Don't know why, but... Maybe not. Let's try. Yep, disappeared, no? Wait. Oh, no. Good. Cool. That's not Sadie Plant. That's somebody in the room. This is Bishi, my friend, as well. She's singing Methuselah, which is it's a song about Methuselah, the oldest man in the Bible. She's Methuselah here. So yes, I did this opera, and yeah, the main kind of text of Sadie Plan drew other texts and inspirations, and it became quite a big show. And then it was commissioned for the V&A, and it was showed in 2017 in a new space that was built for the V&A, and it was the first time, and I think only time, where the whole space, it's downstairs, was open completely, and we had the privilege to perform there, and it was very, very great. So that was how I got to doing an opera, and I was very happy because I had the opportunity to make this big work, because I learned a lot about music. And one thing that nobody ever told me is that basically, don't know if you know that, but music doesn't belong to anybody. You know, you have to learn piano in order to play whatever. You have to understand the notes in order to play. No, it doesn't work exactly like this. This is because there is a reason why we think like that, and we think a lot of things that are kind of mistaken, if not morphed, or kind of controlled by somebody, somewhere in history. Basically, music is sounds. And notation or chords are tamed sound or organized sound. That's all, just organized. But if you start thinking like this, it releases you from this kind of nervousness of, I don't know how the chords work, because I'm dyslexic and I don't know, I can't, I just can't touch it. No, it's just systems, yeah. If I touch the piano, 99 keys, in a certain way, and I repeat the same thing, suddenly it sounds not bad, sounds all right, that makes sense. I make the sense. It's not that somebody will tell you, put your finger here, here and there, and that's C major. Okay. No. Remember, we are environment. We decided everything. It's in our DNA. Chords, things that sound good to us, that make sense, that don't make sense in a good way, is things that humans invented, and it's in there, this machine. So what sounds good to you on the piano doesn't sound good to you. It sounds good because it's been generated through millions of years, nature, systems of nature, humans, other stuff, that make that sound mean something to you, and then you can find it. You can find it on the piano. And you can repeat this thing, and by repeating it, you create some kind of sentence, like in language. You make a sentence, and the sentence will sound right if you keep on doing it. And if you change it a little bit, it will sound even more right. What I'm trying to say is that, yeah, you could go the way of learning music in a traditional way, controlled by various, let's not go into it, but, or you could just try things out and find things through doing and create new variations. You won't be the first people to create new variations. No one is a genius, and no one created anything new. it's a snowball, you know. This person, that person, that person, this woman, that woman, this whatever here, this in this culture, that culture, the other culture, influence something, da 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 da. Somehow I, know all these things. I'm not sure how, I heard it, and da da da. And I also do something, a little thing, and so I take part of it, of this conversation that keeps happening and happen between humanity. Okay? And there I am. Wow. E minor. Great. Somebody told me that the whole opera was written in E minor. I didn't know what E minor was. But apparently it's kind of a Jewish note. I am Jewish. I had no idea. Anyway, so weird, right? So we don't invent anything new. We participate in something, and through us, our system, we create something. We create something, our own personal thing, and maybe somebody will understand the stuff that happened before and after, just because me, And I think this is what artists do. They just go, I've got something to say. That's all. No one's a genius. And no one invented anything. Marcel Duchamp didn't bring the urinal and changed the 20th century art. It was a woman. Yeah, it was a woman. Yeah. And she signed it, Anat, and she gave it to Marcel Duchamp to present it. And he couldn't get it into the exhibition. And later on, people liked it after 30 years. So he thought, well, I'll just make replicas of it and, make a bit of cash. I mean, only human. But his name is what driven this thing forwards, and it changed the history. But people tend to forget it was actually Countess von Freitag, I think her name was. She's a Freitag. Okay, he knows all. He's very clever. He remembers, and I don't, because I'm dyslexic, and he remembers. What was her name again?
Baroness von Freitag von Doringhorn.
Yes, it's very hard to remember, but she's amazing. Her poetry is amazing, and she was into plumbing and kind of, toiletries and things like that, and she made huge lists of that and created amazing art through her thought and her being. And so just remember that. Okay, I think I've spoken quite a lot, and we have, it's now 2:22, which is good, 2:22, and I just thought maybe you wanted to ask me questions, or if you want to see something specific, I've got loads of stuff, or to explain some of the things that I was talking about, maybe in a PhD, maybe in process. Whatever you need, I would like to give to you. Yes, sir. Melech, okay. So, this is, I just released a new album, this is Tsipoa, there it is. I can go back to it. Melech. Melech was the PhD exhibition for the PhD, and I made these vinyls from, this was the experimental part of the PhD, the practice-based thing, where I made these, the music for that went on this, and here I'm explaining it, but we can go back to it. I think you want to see some video. This is the installation. This is what you mean, Sean? Where is it? Oh yeah, here it is. Oh gosh, again, technology. Oh no! This is another thing. Okay, sorry. I'll just leave it like this.
Come here, bear this, look at inspiration. She is the total of you, she is forever pottering about. Manipulation, beautiful of information, much of color in her eyes reveal nothing. Frame this, cover that with flash, muse in opening her mouth, get shut down. Good for you, suppose
even eyes kept open. When you in love with image, he went with pockets.
So yeah, it was a video installation with sound and some photography, and then I also performed live these songs that I've written in a way in collaboration with instruments and through effects, sound effects, where I would abstract my voice through an effect, and it comes back as a new thing, as something that I don't recognize, and I kind of animate the voice like a puppet person would, you know, activate their puppets by looking at them and trying to make them more lively or more real. In a way, it works in the same idea. That doesn't make sense at all, right? So I don't. I mean, it's there's a lot of things that are important to say about this presentation in order to explain why everything in this presentation of the Melech exhibition has to do with the research and how I worked through the research and thought about things and what came out of it and how it was presented as a show and as a live performance. But I wanted to ask you if you have any questions, and yeah, and then I can maybe, you know, I don't know if anything I said was interesting or at all useful for you, but, you know, ask me stuff. Yes?
I had a question about opera.
Okay.
So through serendipity or through your analysis, you came to the term opera, and then I think you kind of claimed some authenticity from that, or like power. Like you end up in the V&A kind of through making an opera and all the heritage that it has. But does it end up organizing you? Like, because it's got all this heritage, do you find yourself ending up like becoming part of that old opera crowd in some way? You know?
They won't accept me.
Okay.
They hate me.
So you
I
don't end up being
I
organised
wish I want to do operas all my life. I'd love to do it at the Eno. I'd love to do something big like that again. But they won't. They don't like it because I didn't mean to, but I kind of poo-poo their whole kind of existence, you know. It's like, you've got to learn for years and years, you've got to be good, you've got to... I'm like, hey, hi, what? Okay, woo! And they're like, No, this is too scary. So no, I can't. I wish. I want to. I want to be accepted everywhere. But, you know, it's hard. Yeah. Sorry. Can't change the world. I wish I could. Any other questions?
Anat,
You again?
here you go. And yeah, related to your question, Anna Dennis,
Yeah.
soprano,
Yeah.
whom you saw with the spiky hair,
Yes.
she regularly performs week in, week out in these opera contexts that you're alluding to.
Yeah.
Do you think that secretly she wants to be doing more of this kind of thing?
The amazing Anna Dennis wants to do both all the time. I mean, Richard Scott as well. But Richard Scott, yeah, anyway, Anna Dennis, she is an opera singer that works in these places everywhere around the world. She's quite well known. She's an amazing opera singer, classical. She knows how to do and to deliver, and she belongs to that world. But she also belongs to my world in a way, and she collaborated me on this work happily, paid very little, but she enjoys doing, and she's also on my album. I should play them the Wagner song.
Still time.
Yeah, she collaborates with me because she's got an open mind. She accepts everything that is kind of inspiring, and she finds the old opera world very inspiring. So do I. Some of the work, the older work, you know, that is genuinely kind of. So she's in both worlds, and she feels very natural and kind of. She has no problem. There's no difference between, and there's no difference in my taste. There's only good things and good art and bad art, or boring art and really interesting art, and as well as being very. It depends on who you are and what you like. But I think Anna is very similar to me in the way that she accepts both worlds. So you get these amazing people, and she suggested that for the new album we do. A pop song from a song that Richard Wagner composed for his girlfriend, lover, that was very unhappy, and she wrote Im Treibhaus, which translates the hothouse. It's about plants that are crying, metaphorically, in the hothouse because of their displacement from where they were brought from exotic lands into Germany. This is it 19th century, right? Early.
In 1880s.
Yes, in the 80s, different 80s. Let's just. I'll play you one of the songs because. Okay, so Anna Dennis said, "Why don't we do a pop song?" And I like it very much because Wagner thought that he wasn't pop. He was beyond pop. He was the big master. He's built a temple around his work, and he's not popular at all. Oh my God, is he pop? Woo! He's so pop. And I like to kind of punch these old masters that think that they are such a genius to say, hang on a minute, you're saying it's not pop? It is pop, look. And we can make a pop song out of it without changing it that much. Yay! And also, you know, so I like this kind of conversation with the old masters. And is that the one? Maybe it's, I think it's this. Let's see. Oh yeah. So this is Anna Dennis. And it was called Matilda's song, and also Matilda was the name. Matilda was the name of Wagner's girlfriend. Shit, I'm doing it again. Okay, sorry. Okay, never mind. Come on. Yeah. This is Matilda's song. Any other questions? Yes. Wait, turn it down. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much for the presentation.
Thanks.
Just one or two questions.
Yes, yes, yes.
Do you have to write a formal musical score for the opera afterwards? Or how much was improvised or serendipitous? And then the other question was, how do you document the process for that?
Very good questions. I reckon you're doing a PhD, probably. See, I can tell. I can see them a mile away. Anyway, yes, good question. The first question is that I had to write the notation after I finished the composition, and I didn't know how to write it. So one of the musicians, Tom, they changed their name now, and they're now called Gem. So I have, anyway, they helped me out with it. I said that I needed to write the notation because some of the musicians needed notation, and it's an easy way to communicate with musicians. And so he helped me write it, and then I realized Anna was really annoyed because she said, "This is nothing like what you're singing. So what should I do? This or you're singing?" I was like, somewhere in between. She got it. She's like, "Oh, okay." But yes, basically it's a very difficult thing because and part of the opera is also improvised. So between the songs there's improvisation. So it's very, very important, and the improvisation part still is alive. And also I say to the musicians, if you want to change, you can change. Change it. It's fine. I'm not averse to hearing something new, something different. So it's always between those two poles. But the notation is good. It gives the musician that knows how to read those notes and stuff, it gives them a kind of an idea, an image of the song. And of course, if they play it exactly like, it's wrong. I hate it. I can't listen to it. I'm like, no. You change it. You're not doing it right. So it's these kind of tension between the structure. Structure can't give you the human kind of feeling. And I say you're allowed to change. As long as it's beautiful. But you know what I mean. It's kind of more organic and feels more natural to the musician. I like that they change things, and I also give, if they change it in a kind of not a right way, but in a way that affects the song. Of course, they get credit of writing. They have to, and this is another horrible kind of thing that happened over the years, where some musician took advantage of another musician that came in and did a part of a song, and we all know that story. That amazing singers and amazing musicians that came in and just improvised a little bit or gave the song what it's worth. I mean, you know. And they don't get any credits or no royalties, and this is like, for me, it's one of the. I can't even begin to say how sad it makes me that these people didn't get the right credits. And all the acknowledgement. I just saw a documentary on BBC about Bette Davis. Don't know if you've seen it. This amazing artist. Bette Davis. Just watch that documentary about her, because she disappeared. She was extremely forward-thinking, amazing, beautiful, exciting, edgy musician in the 60s and the beginning of the 70s, trying really hard to. She was married to Miles Davis, and at one point in her life, she just gave up because none of the labels and none of the people that she worked with, not her band, acknowledged her work as significant, and they tried to change the way that she would perform, and she just, there was a couple of things that happened to her, and I think she just left and nobody heard about her. She basically disappeared from the scene completely. Amazing artist. A documentary is beautiful as well, because you can hardly see her. So yeah, a lot of musicians fell into that hole of like being exploited by labels, by other musicians. Yeah, so. And the second question, documentation, good question. Documentation. Recording. Recording a lot of the stuff that you're doing, even if it's experimental, you record it. Record the sound, and then record the things that you noted and realize that those things are going to be important for your research or relevant to your research. Write them down immediately when they come up, just to kind of bring you back to that point. The recording is very, very helpful, because often you do an improvised session and you get something really, really good, and you can't repeat it, especially with synthesizers. And once you record, you can recollect what you've done, and the process is what's important. It doesn't matter that it doesn't sound again the same. It's just the process, because it will bring something new all the time. MIDI is very good to work with for people who don't know how to write notes or notation, or because MIDI keeps all the information, and you can change it to notes or whatever. It's amazing, MIDI. So if you record the MIDI while you're playing, you record the MIDI notes, and you basically you've got the structure, so you will find the chord. What was that? I don't know what chord it was, but if you look at the MIDI structure, you'll realize, oh, it's, whatever, E minor and B major and A, and you can see the notes. It's such an amazing tool to use, is MIDI. Yeah, and then it's hard to pick whatever you decide to work on, and I call it amplification. Basically, everything could be great, you know what I mean? But you think, what should I amplify? And this part I'm going to amplify and create into a song, maybe. But there's still the improvisation. It's as good as the song. It's just how much you want to kind of chisel it out. And I decided at one point with Sipoa, with the new albums, that I wanted to get something out there that would just be a kind of a homage to the moment that I was playing with Anna and Richard in the studio and doing some stuff by myself, and I just chose very randomly the songs that I'm going to amplify, mix, master, chisel out. There's the songs, but I also love the improvisations, and they're kind of different, but it's a different album. I've got many albums in my head that I want to release, but sometimes you just make a decision, I'll just do that, just to kind of put it aside, and it does give you a feeling of okay, there it is. And now what's so great is that we can release on our own. We don't need any label or anyone to say this is good. You just release it, distribute it, release it. It doesn't matter. Just do it, and it's there. It's out there. If people want to look at it, if not, that's fine. Just it's amazing, because you're kind of in control of the whole process. And there's no, the music now is so vast, and there's so many different things that it doesn't matter if you fit in or fit. It's I don't know where it's going. It's going into a different place. Who knows what will happen with the music? Because it works really well with the computer. You see, it's the same thing, basically. It's the code. So. Yeah. Any?
Have we got any more questions? There's one here. Just here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really intrigued by the titles of some of your work. So I'm just, I suppose the question is, I'm wondering why you chose the title of Melech for that particular piece.
Good question. Melech is, I'm Israeli, so my native language is Hebrew, and Melech is king. And when I was doing the experimental part of my PhD, I tried to see if I worked with a certain system, that my voice goes into the system, comes out in a different way, what comes out at me, and what is the system telling to me of what it wants to be. And so I create a low frequency kind of feedback loop system with my voice. And what came out with this really like really ancient kind of sound that was telling me this story, and the words came out. I didn't think about the words, they came out in Hebrew. I think that's the instinct that came out with this kind of dry, earthy, kind of deserty kind of vibe. And it was this story about this king that was crying to his people and saying, you know, what have I done? And kind of just telling them the truth, saying, you know, everything's a mistake. I've killed my wife, I've killed this, I've killed that, and he's kind of saying the truth. And this text was like overwhelming me because I didn't think about it before. And I've decided that it's this king. This was the image, the sonic image of the king saying these things to his people, you know, an ancient thing. And Melech was suddenly became the name of the album, and because it represents this thing that comes to you. You're not, you know, it comes to you from the method of working. Yeah. So.
Okay, just want to say.
Oh,
there's one more question.
Oh.
And one there as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's kind of about the opera, but kind of not. You said at one point that there was someone from the audience that was improvised. Is that right? In the green screen. Did you say?
The thing, second, green screen? Where?
Yeah, was there like someone from the audience that you like?
No, the green screen was by Stuart Scott, Richard Scott, which I work with, had to be in Greece, and he couldn't be at the performance, so I had to replace him. And I love him so much, and he's so amazing. So I said to him, would you be in the video, at least in the video singing? And then I created this big video with him sitting on in the sea and singing the duet that we did together. So that was kind of, again, I didn't think about it because he couldn't be there. I put him in. But the improvisation was more within our group, the musicians that were in there, improvised between the songs. So there'll be like a song, and then somebody will start improvising, and the sound will take us to another song at the end. But in between the songs, there was improvised sounds and music and electronics and processing, all kinds of things like that.
Is it like, sorry, kind of,
Yeah.
I'll be quick. Is it important to you to have audience there to view your work?
Of course.
Like, does that almost, is that like your goal? Because like, I don't know.
It's just a natural process. You have to have like it's like it receives your information, and humans are the most sophisticated receiver that you are kind of having the conversation with. And if you get so much from seeing how people react and what they feel, and you'll be surprised as a performer that how you can read emotions and things that even if the audience are very quiet and don't say anything, you can feel what they're thinking, and you can improve yourself by being aware of this information that comes through the system. So of course it's important as the process. It's nothing to do with ego, or it's something that you constantly want, this kind of interaction.
There was one over there. Just at the top.
Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah.
I've got my glasses on. Sorry, it's kind of a boring question for
Yeah.
me, but it's how do you navigate the kind of written part of the PhD as a non-reader and somebody who kind of reads rhythmically? Does that appear in your text?
So all the text in the performative side, in the practice-based, is written in certain. I've created this kind of method of writing, which is rhythmical, sonical, and text just come out through the sonic, and then I understand it later, understand the meaning of it through its written expression. So if you like, it's like reading aloud and adding words. I did it a little bit at the beginning with the new text, adding stuff, and then afterwards you kind of read and you make the sense from that improvisation. rather than the opposite, which is usually what we tend to do. I do the opposite. So for me, sonically, it makes more sense than the normal logic that makes grammatic logic, that makes sense semantically through language. So for me, it's the opposite. So I don't know if that's helpful. But also the title of your PhD is very important because it will, for me, it was like a structure that I kept going back to. And I understood those words to be part of my chapters. Each word directed me to an axis that I kind of understood the structure of the PhD through the title. So it's very interesting thing to do, PhD or kind of a work like this. Any other questions? Well, I'm still here packing up, so you can come and talk to me.
Can we say a big thank you, please?
Thanks for Simon Morris and Patrick and Chris, where I'm staying in this beautiful, amazing Shandy Hall. Thank you so much for inviting me. And thank you for coming. And tell everyone, I need more work.